I was chatting with our folks on Fox Business yesterday. I said, you guys just hold on to your hat.
Yeah.
You have no idea what's going to happen in the next 8 months. Well, what do you mean? I said, I don't have any idea what's going to happen. I said, this is going to be off the hook.
Off the hook.
Almost on a daily basis.
Yeah. And, when they say in comedy, you don't open with your closer, meaning whatever your most extreme joke is, you got to save it for the end. I feel like we're opening with our closer in this election, and that we already have a lot of extreme things happening. Whether it's the Trump judgment or you want to talk about whatever's going on with Biden, then there's a Jim Biden thing. But the point is that all-weather tire is needed more than ever.
George Bush had a DUI that broke 3 days before the election.
Wow.
This all seems so innocent, doesn't it? Not that a DUI is good.
Yeah,
but
not good.
That's when the story broke. He had a Hollywood Access tape that broke, a month before the election of 2016?
Yeah.
And we seem to have absorbed that.
Yep.
But what's going on out there right now is something that we've not yet to tread.
Well, this is what I think is so interesting. So you've got, Trump trying to Grover Cleveland his way back in as a non-concurrent president. You've got Biden, who's essentially been in Washington since Washington, if we're being honest. And I always wonder when you talk about what the October surprise could be, what is out there on these two guys we haven't gotten to?
Correct.
It's like,
what is there?
If there is something left, some Oppo research team did not do their job, is all I would say.
Wow.
Because these guys have been around a long time.
I mean, maybe you back the Supreme Court up into a corner where it's like October. And you're waiting on them to give you an answer. I don't know. You know how these court processes work out. You get an appeal that goes into the fall. I guess it's possible.
Yep.
Right?
Well, I think there's two things.
Have you ever heard of a case where you're fined hundreds of millions of dollars and you're allowed to appeal, but only after you forked over the hundreds of millions of dollars? As if you are admitting guilt anyway.
Think about this. Imagine you get a ticket in the mail on a very basic level. You ran a red light. You got a red light camera photo. Okay, you're welcome to appeal. Send us the $150 bucks.
Right.
And then we'll schedule
an admission
a trial.
of guilt.
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense.
And the bigger issue I think we come back to, the way I've been characterizing it for the listener, is that this is the financial equivalent of charging him for murder, but there's no dead person. Because there's no victim. There's no aggrieved class.
Yeah.
If the banks wanted to do more business with him, what's the justification for a victim? Is it the interest rate change? What are they trying to say?
What I don't understand, Jimmy, is to whom does he appeal? Because it was a singular judge who ruled. He was a single trier of fact. There was no jury. Does it go to the state Supreme Court? Is there an appellate level before that? I don't know. It was a civil case.
Yeah.
So I haven't been able to figure out what the next case would be under appeal.
Well, and my bigger concern too is when you talk about undermining faith in the process. I feel like in a lot of ways they're doing that, if only because she campaigned on doing this. She campaigned on bringing down Trump.
On camera repeatedly. And the E. Jean Carroll thing, I don't have an answer for this. If you do, please share it with me.
I don't have it.
I don't understand, in any case, not just Trump or E. Jean Carroll. Take those two people out of it, okay? You're accused of sexual assault. And the accuser does an interview on television and describes and explains most of it, I would say, not all of it. And the judge says that's not admissible.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Bizarre. And that takes me back to feeling like it's hard for Trump to get a fair shake in the legal system right now.
Well, maybe in the state of New York.
That's what I mean. At the end of the movie Chinatown, when Jack Nicholson has the whole thing figured out and he says to him, "Forget it, Jake, it's Chinatown." It doesn't matter that you have the goods.
I guess. But maybe as we think about and try and predict surprises, maybe there's some surprise.
Yeah, legal surprise.
Legal
there's two things. You got a potential Trump verdict. But then there's the reality that Biden is probably being tried behind the scenes right now in the DNC. I'm not the guy who believes he's definitely coming off the ballot, but I think if it was going to happen, it's going to happen at the convention. And I think that leaves us for a really tumultuous fall if that's the case.
So there's no doubt about that. I agree with you. That would be the story of one of the leading stories in the world.
Yeah.
Obviously. I am not a believer that he's going to take himself off the ballot.
Yeah, he don't want to.
I don't think so.
And
you want to give all that stuff up?
I know, and she likes being first lady, doesn't she?
He's a competitor. Yeah. I don't care if he's 81. He still wants to compete.
And you think he's sticking around?
I do believe that.
Bill Hemmer is in studio. He says Biden stays on the ticket. If you listen closely, you can hear Biden being like, "Do I have to?" I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh.
No, he's done. If the race goes through as presently constituted, which I think, there's obviously a very good chance that it does. That puts us right now almost 9 months from the finish line.
Yes.
Of just this.
Yes.
Which is fascinating.
9 months of Jimmy saying, do you think they'll debate?
You know what it reminds me of is a lot of analogies when Larry Holmes fought Jerry Cooney in the late 80s. Because they were both in a state of advanced age as boxers.
Larry Holmes,
the Easton assassin.
Yes.
Good jab.
Yeah.
Good
Was that
jab.
late 80s?
Yes. When he fought Jerry Cooney, they billed it as two geezers at Caesars. They were fighting. They were both like in their 40s. And if that was two geezers at Caesars with a combined age of Joe Biden, okay, now you're seeing a combined age of 160 on the ballot. This is going to be wild.
Yeah. Did you see Trump town hall with Laura Ingraham last night?
Yeah, it's a lot of it.
Rapid fire.
Dude,
yes, no.
Yeah,
rapid fire. I thought Laura did a really good job.
She did.
And he was in control.
I was surprised Laura bumped her Tuesday night What the Failla segment for Trump, personally.
Right.
I think a lot of people were.
I think they should do 2 next week.
I was told that viewership spiked at 7:50 Eastern because they thought that Failla guy was coming on.
Where's Jimmy?
Wow, Trump got a lot of engagement on his last 2 answers. It's really weird. Weird how that happened. I laugh. But no, he was sharp. To his credit, this is the one thing I come back to as a sports fan, is he has played every team on the schedule. Every team. It's the legal process, if it's an impeachment, if it's, Hollywood.
Putin.
It doesn't matter. He is fighting. He's the Julio Cesar Chavez of presidents. He fought 130 Tijuana
He's
cab
the
drivers.
all-weather tire you've been looking for, Jimmy.
He is the guy. And what I come back to in the world we're living in right now is I do think there's something to be said as Americans, okay, for the more physically formidable candidate. Because we're in a real spot right now. And a lot of the people who are the adversaries, they respect strength more than anything. Okay, they respect force more than anything.
Trump gets that. He talks about it all the time.
Yes. They don't get the other language being spoken in Washington right now. They don't. They don't do DEI or whatever you want to characterize it as. And I think that's where I think Trump has more appeal. In a tumultuous world on fire scenario like the one we're in, you'd rather have Joe Clark from Lean On Me with the megaphone insulting kids in the hallway, than the nice principal from Good Will Hunting. So I don't know.
Jimmy, here's the thing. Republicans have yet to prove that they can get the vote out.
Yep. It's another problem.
Democrats are wired into technology. Where are Republicans on that now?
Yeah.
I know they're working toward it. I know they're building, but they haven't proven it yet.
Yeah, in a post-2020 world where the turnout was as high as it was, and mail-in and other unconventional ways that we did it, you'd like to think the RNC had this down by now.
I know they're working on it.
Yeah, okay.
I've talked to them.
Okay.
And so they're going to come out with this thing about bank your vote. All right, that's going to get a lot of attention. But you have to really dig into where your voters are. And I'm not talking states. I'm not even talking counties. I'm talking precincts.
Yeah.
I'm talking neighborhoods. What are you doing in those neighborhoods and precincts to contact people who are like-minded? Democrats have been doing this since 2008.
Yeah.
All right.
No, they run it.
And I don't. Republicans have not yet proven that they've made the transition into the modern era for elections. And I think this whole thing about like voting on election day, fine.
Yeah.
All right. But you got to promote the other stuff too, because it's legal. And what the RNC should do is they should explain to their voters, this is how you vote in 2024. Things have changed. Accept it. And if you really want to win, you better play by all the rules, not just yours.
That's a great note because the truth is it's not going backwards.
Correct.
This is how we've Sid Luckman threw a forward pass. Okay, we're going to do things besides hand off now. We got to get out. Guys got to learn how to throw the ball, Republicans.
That's good.
They're not just doing it between the tackles anymore.
Yes.
Bill Hemmer, this is why you have Hemmer on, because he ultimately drives me to a hypothesis at my own academic level. But that's the one that's most digestible for the American people.
Yeah.
That's my secret sauce. I always joke, like, if you like reading at the 3rd grade level, you like my book. But I'm not lying. I mean, that's how these things work.
Yeah,
if you've got a choice between Google what the radio host says or change the station, you're probably changing the station. So I'm going to screw Google out of some money and keep them attached with my 3rd grade intellect. See how it's done, Hemmer? Hammer?
That's right.
The
Forward
best.
pass.
Well, for the record,
Yes, sir.
I think you crushed that chair. In the control room, they seem very satisfied with the posture. We have a college associate who also nodded along. Last thing before
Is that also known as an intern or no?
Yeah, I would say an intern because I'm old school, college associate. You goes by both.
You learn anything?
It's a whole thing.
Okay, 2 thumbs up and a head shake.
He's already...
Jimmy, you're doing something right.
No. He showed up here wanting a career in media, and I've already caught him applying to Avis Rent-A-Car twice. He's like, he watched one episode of the show. He's like, it's the old Rodney Dangerfield joke. Rodney does a joke where he goes, yeah, the other day I was making love to my wife. She had this faraway look on her face. I said, honey, is there somebody else? She said, there's gotta be. That's him. Bill Hammer,
Got it, brother.
Every day on America's Newsroom.
Thank you, buddy. Good to be with you.